Another World, Physics Project by Karen Pinto. I always wonder what is going on the outer space. Our solar system is so perfect and complex at the same time. But the big question is, what is going on in the first planet? So, let's focus on Mercury. Mercury is the first planet of our solar system, the closest planet to the Sun, and the 8th largest, having a period of 59 days, orbits in 88 days, density of 5.427 grams per centimeter cubed. Mercury is the second densest planet in our solar system after Earth. Mercury's radius is 2,439.7 kilometers. Its surface area is 7.48 times 10 to the 7 kilometers square. Its orbit 57,910,000 kilometers away from the Sun. Its diameter 4,880 kilometers and its mass 3.3 times 10 to the 23 kilograms. Mercury is similar in appearance to the Moon. The difference between Mercurian craters and lunar craters is the area blanketed by their ejecta, which is much smaller, a consequence of Mercury's stronger surface gravity. Like the Moon, the surface of Mercury has likely incurred the effects of a space weathering process, including solar wind and micrometeorite impacts. Mercury also differs from the Moon in that its rotation is not synchronous. Mercury has a very thin atmosphere, composed by potassium, sodium, atomic oxygen, argon, helium, molecular oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide, water, and hydrogen. Geologists estimate that Mercury's core occupies about 42% of its volume. For Earth, this proportion is 17%. Mercury's density can be used to infer details to its inner structure, while the Earth's high density results appreciably from gravitational compression, particularly at the core. Mercury is much smaller and its inner regions are not nearly as strongly compressed. Therefore, for it to have such a high density, its core must be large and rich in iron. The planet with the most eccentric orbit in the solar system is Mercury. The eccentricity for the planet is 0.21 and its distance from the Sun ranges from 46 to 70 million kilometers. It only takes 88 days for Mercury to orbit around the Sun. A typical year on Mercury would take 88 Earth days. A day in Mercury is twice as long as a year in Mercury. One solar day lasts 176 Earth days, which is almost twice its orbital period, which means that 1 year is half a day. In some parts of the surface of Mercury, the Sun rises halfway, then sets again, and then rises again. This happens is equivalent to 1 day in Mercury. The reason for this is that 4 days before perihelion, the angular orbital velocity of Mercury is equivalent to its angular rotational velocity. The apparent motion of the Sun stops. When perihelion occurs, the rotational velocity is less than its angular orbital velocity. After 4 days, the Sun's apparent motion will return back to normal. Mercury rotates 3 times every 2 revolutions. A day on Mercury is equivalent to 58.66 Earth days. We get this number by multiplying 88 days by 2/3. Mercury is just over a third as far from the Sun as the Earth is. If you were on the surface of Mercury, the Sun would look almost 3 times as big as it does from Earth. Mercury has a huge range in temperatures. Its surface ranges in temperature from -168 degrees Celsius to 427 degrees Celsius. During the very long daytime, the temperatures are very high. Actually, it's the second highest in the solar system. Only Venus is hotter. During the long night, the thin atmosphere lets the heat dissipate and the temperature drops quickly. The atmospheric pressure in Mercury is just about 2 trillionths of atmospheric pressure on Earth. Since the atmosphere is so slight, the sky would appear pitch black, except for the sun, the stars, and other planets when visible, even during the day. Also, there is no greenhouse effect on Mercury. When the sun sets, the temperature drops very quickly, since the atmosphere does not help. Mercury's mass is about 3.3 times 10 to the 23 kilograms. This is about 1/20th of the mass of the Earth. The gravity on Mercury is 38% of the gravity on Earth. A 100-pound person would weigh only 38 pounds on Mercury. To calculate this weight on Mercury, we just have to multiply the weight by 0.38. Mercury and Earth are the only terrestrial planets with a magnetic field. The magnetic field around Mercury is just about 1.1% the strength of Earth's. Mercury's magnetic field is generated by a magnetic dynamo created by a moving molten iron-rich core. Mercury's magnetic field is dipolar, like Earth. This means that it has north and south magnetic poles. Mercury's magnetic field is strong enough to deflect the solar wind around the planet, creating a magnetosphere. Low-energy plasma and bursts of energetic particles were detected in the planet, indicating a dynamic quality. Scientists have discovered mysterious leaks and magnetic tornadoes. These tornadoes are twisted bundles of magnetic field that connect the planetary magnetic field to the interplanetary space. Some of these tornadoes can be 800 kilometers wide and a third of the radius of the planet. This is my animation. This is how I did it. I rotate the planets in whatever direction I want. These are my textures, and this is how it looks. Maya software.
I'm a ninja.